your horror movie podcast.
Hey, Justin,
What's up?
what did the farmer say when he lost his tractor?
I have no clue, Sean.
Where's my tractor?
I see what's happening. I got you.
Welcome back, Hack Stab Slash. It's your boy Hacky. We are here with our man.
Justin, what is up?
Let's go. We're doing a Shudder original, I believe? Question mark. It's called Last Straw, and this came out last year for the Last Straw. Bro, I've never seen this before. I know you've never seen this before. I think one of the only reasons why I picked it is because we were talking about movies we should do to help stay current and like newer releases.
Yeah.
I scrolled by an ad on this on Facebook that was during the dancing scene, and I was like, this looks right up my alley.
Yep. All right.
I was like, all right, fuck it, we'll do it.
Yeah, I did not watch the trailer, never heard of it, knew nothing about it. I think I saw just the cover of it I did see the cover of it on Shudder, because when I did look and find for it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that came out a year ago. But yeah, knew nothing about it, went in blind. So yeah.
And like even your backdrop right now,
Yep.
like I love that shit. I love the aesthetics of the diner, like all
same.
that stuff. So I was a little amped up going into this.
Yeah, like I said, I knew that you told me it was in a diner. People get killed. That's all I knew. But I love diners.
People get killed. It's in a diner.
All
this over the meatloaf special.
Exactly. I love Blood Diner, 1987, I believe. So I mean, I'm all good for another diner movie.
We might have to do that next, dude. Let's just set a theme.
let's just do diners, man. Let's go. Blood Diner from the 80s coming up next. Let's go.
Well, this movie, for starters, it opens up to a 911 call. There's bodies, blood, guts everywhere. I was not expecting this to set it up because the little preview that I seen, Justin, it made it out like it was a solo killer versus a solo waitress in an overnight diner. But this 911 call, we see like a body is just scarred from what appears to be burns from the oil. There's one dude like laying dead in the middle of the diner, blood fucking everywhere. There's a waitress that's just gutted. There's a guy laying in a boot. Like there's literally bodies fucking everywhere.
Yes.
And they're like, the 911 operator's like, what's your name? And he's like, I'm Jay Collins. And it sounds so sincere and so genuine that it feels like someone's actually concerned.
Yep.
So then we get a quick rewind to 25. Yeah, 25. Wow.
So why would it be 25 hours earlier?
Wow. 24 hours earlier.
There you go.
I'm leaving that in. Nancy, our main girl in this adventure, is now peeing on a stick in the woods, only to find out she's got a fresh bun in this oven.
Yep.
So she does what any small town girl would do. She goes to a local church and asks God for forgiveness. I'm just kidding with you, dude. She goes lakeside and gets high as shit with her best friend.
Oh.
But guess what, Justin? It is time to be a grown-up. So Nancy decides, all right, it's time for me to go to work. So she heads in for her shift at the family diner, only to have her car break down. This girl's day is off to one rough start.
Not going good.
Luckily, Bobby, who also works at the diner, he's a good guy. He says, I'll let you catch a ride on my mountain bike. Why, Justin? Why does this man get on the back of the mountain bike and make her ass pedal to work?
Yes. Well, didn't she like kick him off? Didn't she?
I think so. I think she was like, yeah, never mind. Like, I'm the man in this relationship.
Yeah, she literally drives it and has him on the back. I know. I was like, what is happening?
And then by the time she does get to work, she is sarcastically greeted by Ed, her dad, who's just kind of laying into her. He's like, you got to be on time. How can I expect you to be management material if you can't even manage what goddamn time is supposed to be here? And I'm like, this man is being brutal right now because this girl's car just died and she just walked for like, I don't know, an hour. She's all sweaty. It's just, I'm feeling bad for the way her day is starting right now, knowing that we're about to get into a movie for the way that it ends. And it just gets worse, dude, because Ed tells her, hey, you're working the overnight shift with creepy ass Jake because I got plans tonight. And she's like, well, Dad, I got plans too. And he's like, well, fuck your plans. But we see Nancy now gets her first taste of morning sickness. And as much as she said Jake is a creep, he sees everything happen out back as well as her dad. And Jake kind of gives off good guy misunderstood vibes right now because he even covers for her instantly without hesitation,
Mm.
blaming it on the spoiled meat from the freezer that's on the fritz. She just gives him a look. She doesn't even say thank you. Like she just hangs him out to dry. She's like, yeah, whatever.
Dude, I was so confused like this first half of this movie of who I was supposed to like because even
Yeah.
like her talking to her dad, it was like odd. And then I'm like, oh, she's really cool. But then I'm like, no, she's not. And then like same thing with Jake is like, obviously we'll find out more later. But I'm just like, I was very confused. I'm like, who was what kind of
Yeah,
character I'm
dude. At
supposed to
this point,
like?
I'm like, oh, Bobby's like the good local kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind hearted. Jake right now is giving off very just misunderstood,
Yep.
like from the rough part of this small town kind of vibes. And she's giving off, I'm too good for this town. I need to get out of here. Y'all are holding me back. Like, fuck you all. I'm better than you type
Yep.
deal. Like, it just, I'm very confused at who to like right now.
Same.
But Nancy's dad heads out and he's leaving Nancy in charge, bro. And almost immediately after him leaving, she's got to deal with these four fucking hooligans who show up to play Whack the Roadkill in the parking lot. She goes, like, who does that?
I don't know. What is wrong with these kids?
I have no idea. But she goes out, she tells them to leave, and instead, dude, they go inside. But this time, they put on masks. And I love this aesthetic. I love like when we covered Dark Harvest and they all put on like those old timey masks, the Misfit
Yeah.
masks. I love like old timey masks. I don't know what it is about old timey shit and horror, dude. It just
Yeah,
it scratches that itch in my brain.
it's like the purge all of a sudden now. Now we got these
Yeah,
masks on the kids. It's purge time.
but she's like, "Oh, I'm calling the cops, dude." So she pretends to call the cops, and three of the four almost immediately get up and walk up. But one of them stands up, squares up with her, and he's like, "I ordered fries." She's like, get the fuck out. And he's like, I'll be back later. You can count on that. Like, very threatening.
Hmm.
This whole ordeal leads Nancy to having a serious pep talk with the entire crew in the back kitchen now because none of them are taking her seriously, especially Jake. And he kind of like laughs at her and he tells her how it really is. He's like, yo, the only reason why you're a manager right now instead of any one of us who actually give a fuck about this restaurant is because you're the owner's daughter. And the sooner you can swallow that pill, the faster we can get to just doing our jobs because we're not going to respect you. So don't demand respect until you earn it.
Right.
She gets pissed, bro. She's like, fuck you, you're fired. And I'm like, this is a ballsy ass move because she was supposed to, she's doing the overnight shift. She's a waitress and this man's a cook. How are you going to fight your cook and then work the overnight shift by yourself?
And why didn't any of those guys help her when she was like dealing with the idiots? Like that's what I was mean. I was so
Yeah.
confused of like who I was supposed to like. I'm like you're not gonna
See,
help a girl yell it.
yeah, but I kind of getting that feeling from Nancy where she's so like adamant about things that if any
Yeah.
one of these dudes tried to step in and help, she would have snapped on them too.
She's don't fuck with her right now. She's all over
So
the
I'm kind of
place.
getting the vibes like this isn't, you know, abnormal behavior for Nancy.
Yeah.
Just right after she fires him, we see Nancy's on edge for the rest of this shift. And when the day shift actually ends, the whole staff just ups and leaves. And they all don't even like say a word, dude. Even Bobby, who's done absolutely nothing but try to be friendly, dude, he even offered to work the overnight shift for free. He was like, I'll just stay here and keep you company. I'll help out. You don't have to pay me.
She
She's like, get
snaps
the
at
fuck
him.
out of here. Yeah.
What the hell? Like, God, Nancy.
So now we fast forward into nighttime and we see the diner light come on. And again, dude, I love the aesthetics. I love the way a lot of this is like cinematically shot right now. But Nancy starts to clean up around this diner. She even calls her dad, who's out on a hot date, to kind of give him shit. And then she finishes that up with telling him that, yo, I fired Jake and he's pissed. And she's like, don't get mad at me. You weren't there. If you were there, you would have had my back. And I don't know if that's necessarily true because I think Jake was just being truthful. After she fires Jake, dude, she makes herself a midnight snack before putting on some sweet daddy music and dancing the night away to a disco ball.
Let's
Justin,
go.
you love this song, right?
It was my favorite scene of the whole entire movie. I absolutely love this so much,
Dude.
dude, dancing
this,
around to it. She like just loved it. Loved it.
so good. This is the scene that made me choose this movie.
Dude, it's my favorite. So good. I like up to this point in this movie, I am loving this so much. Like, oh God, I'm so good.
Do you
Like
know? Do you know what
mystery.
Nancy's not loving?
What is she
That
not
cupcake
loving?
she ate because she just barfed it up and she threw it
Right
up
up.
all over the floor. While she's cleaning this shit up, dude, someone bangs on the window and it scares the shit out of her. And she spots all the mopeds from the gang from earlier out in like directly under like the one street light in this entire fucking parking lot. And then she gets on the loudspeaker and she threatens to call the cops again. And these dudes just respond with more banging on the window and they're running circles. It's getting loud. Like my heart's pumping right now. I'm feeling for Nancy and like what she must be going through.
Yep.
But she does. She calls the cops. And unfortunately, dude, this dispatcher informs Nancy. She's like, all these units are tied up right now. I can't promise when they're going to get out there, but I'll send someone by to check on you. And this seems kind of strange, dude, for a small town because what are these cops doing where the
Right.
entire station is all tied up right now? Like, where are they? What's going on? Is there like some mass traffic fucking pile up? You're like, what could take every cop in this town away from doing their job? And then the phone line just goes dead. And all of the mopeds just stop revving their engines. And Nancy, dude, is in full blown panic at the disco mode right now. The sheriff shows up in the heat of all this, starts banging on the door, and Nancy is in fucking hysterics. She lets the sheriff in, and the lights are off, and she's like, I think they cut the power. When in reality, dude, the sheriff does the most logical thing in the world, dude. He flips the light switch.
It just turns right on.
The shit turns right on, and his name is Sheriff Brooks. He decides to look around, and he seems pissed at Nancy. He's like, listen, lady. He's calm about it, but he's like, listen, lady, you have no idea what you just pulled me away from to come out here and deal with what kids banging on a window. And she's like, yeah, she's still in hysterics. She's like, well, you don't understand like what I've been through. And he's like, how about a cup of coffee? And I was like, this man's got balls.
Yeah, this whole scene was just, it was so weird. I could tell. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is this cop acting like a dick?
Right now,
Like,
dude, I'm like, is this cop faking it? Is he the
I
killer?
I didn't know
Is
either.
it
Like,
not
it
these
was,
moped kids? Like, what's going on?
dude, the cop was acting so shady.
But he does the right thing, and he actually leaves his diner and he goes out and he walks around the diner grounds. He's looking at windows, he's looking behind trash cans, he's making his rounds, and he finds absolutely nothing. But he does radio to dispatch, and dispatch is like, you want me to give you the all clear? And this sets up very nicely because he's like, nah, I could use a break from what I just witnessed. I'm going to go inside, I'm going to have a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to spend some time with this girl until she calms down. Giving no exact time frame. Oh, I'm going to be here for 10 minutes. I'm going to be here for an
Right.
hour. He says, I'm going to stay with this girl and see if these kids come back because maybe they're the people we're looking for from the incident from earlier. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right. So the storylines are starting to tie up.
Starting to make more sense.
Nancy finally gives this man his cup of coffee and some aggressively harsh words with it because she thinks he's being a creep. And she's like, can you not? And he turns around. He's like, what? Excuse me? Excuse me, ma'am. I just asked for some milk and sugar. She's like, stop trying to fucking rape me with your eyes. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, shit, Nancy.
He's like, instead of staring at my ass, how about you get off yours? And like, she's laying into him. And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you need to calm down. You don't know what I've been through tonight. And she's like, I could tell you what these little fucking kids look like. I could tell you the mask they're wearing. They were here earlier on the goddamn mopeds. And he's like, wait, hold up. Back up real quick. Press the rewind button. Did you say mopeds? She's like, yeah. And he just like yokes her up, bro, and starts dragging her out of this fucking diner. And I'm like, yo, this cop is in on it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I'm like, this cop's in on it, dude. The way he's treating her right now.
I was on the edge of my seat like this whole scene. Like,
So they get out to the cruiser and she's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, tell me right now. And he's like, listen, he's like, I just came from the most horrific murder I've ever seen in my entire life, let alone my career. And he's like, and the only evidence we could find at this place is that these killers got away on some kind of dirt bike or a moped. And the second he says that, dude, you could see the color in her face just vanish. And he goes to like open up the car and so they can get the fuck out of there. And just like that, another moped dude fires up, the light turns on, and this is just long enough of a distraction for one of these masked fucking kids to come out and beat this cop to death.
Oh,
And if things couldn't get any worse, Nancy runs away and she hides in like a garage off to the side and she's looking out the window, bro. And we see good guy Bobby is coming back to check on Nancy and he sees the dead sheriff. Right now, at this point in the movie, Justin, the first thought in my head was, nah, Bobby ain't getting it. Bobby's a good dude.
right.
Like you can't do Bobby dirty like this. Like this man needs
Seriously.
to survive.
Yep.
Like you can't have him show up to check on Nancy and have him get taken
Get
out
killed
instantly.
right away.
No. I don't like this. So Nancy finally sacks up, bro, and she sprints across this parking lot to save Bobby. They both run inside this diner, but they make a rookie mistake. Do you know what that rookie mistake is, Justin?
What's the rookie mistake?
They didn't lock the door.
Oh, always lock the door.
You always lock the door behind you.
Oh, God.
Always. And by not locking this door, dude, now the killers are inside and they're looking around. And that, dude, Nancy, she said she wants Bobby's phone to call 911, which would have been the fucking smart thing to do. And instead, dude, she calls her dad. No,
I had that. I was like,
you call
what
back
the
dispatch and you go, hey, the sheriff is dead at Fat Bottom fucking Girls Diner Queen Tribute. You know what I mean? Come get this burger. And dispatch will send these fucking cops. Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I thought I'm like, what?
But in this whole process of passing the phone back and forth, Bobby knocks over like a tin creamer and it makes a noise. And these killers fucking instantly hear it and they start jetting towards them. And Bobby gets up and starts running in the opposite direction of Nancy. So these killers chase down Bobby and Nancy hides inside of like a tray warmer. She can't shut the door fully. And she does the next stupidest thing, Justin, because she's still got the cell phone. She texts her best friend to come to the diner. No clues, no nothing. Just, hey, come to the diner. Are you trying to get everyone killed? What is wrong with you, woman?
Bro, at points of this movie is so freaking clever. And then some of the stuff, I'm like, bro, I know we're in a horror movie, but I get it. Like, but some of the choices, like, what? Sorry.
And this is my favorite killer pop-up scene in the entire movie because she can't fully shut this door, so it's cracked open. After she texts, and we get that cool like little on-screen so you can see the text going back and forth, she looks up, and we see one of the killers looking right through the crack.
Right there.
And I was like, yes, let's go. I'm here for this. They drag her and Bobby out to the diner now. They're duct taping them together. They fucking sit them down. They start smashing them together, and this killer still hasn't made a sound. And at this point, Justin, I'm looking at them, and you can feel the frustration from like the leader. Mm-hmm. And I instantly in my head, I'm like, don't you dare take off this fucking mask, because I was like, he takes off this mask right now, this movie is done.
Yep.
I hate that. I'm like, we are halfway through this fucking movie. You keep that goddamn mask on, you son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
But he even tries to make them kiss, and he's just all pissed off. And dude, Nancy gets up, and she starts to run away. And she gets, well, no, my bad. I messed that up. Rewind again. I'm stumbling over my words. Nancy gets taken from like the front diner because she's not cooperating. She gets dragged out back by the lead killer and thrown on the ground. And this dude looks like he's ready to finish her in the back. And she stabs him, bro, in the fucking calf muscle. Like right between bone and muscle. He's in pain. He falls down. She goes to run out the back door. She immediately runs into another one of the killers and stabs his ass in the gut. And the second this knife enters the belly, we see that it's Justin's turn.
Let's go. Quick P edit. Oh my God, hold on.
That was not a P edit, Justin. Let's just tell Hackstab Slash right now that you were just going to find a to-go box because whatever the hell, Nancy was eating earlier on in this movie, you just wanted the other half of that sandwich. You don't waste food in the Weathers household.
All right, so she stabs that guy right in the gut, and who was it? Like, holy shit, I don't even understand what's happening right now. Takes off the mask. It's friggin' Petey, the special needs brother, in the friggin' mask, and all of them just unmask right now. And it's all the co-workers that she fired, like the 4 friggin' like from earlier. Like,
bro, Justin, just real quick before you really get into this.
Yeah.
At this point in time, what did you think about this movie? Because the second I seen this, I'm thinking they're coming back to just scare her.
Oh, I 100% that.
You
All
know what
right.
I
I
mean?
said, well,
I,
they just
I
all
was like,
just,
maybe they roped in the sheriff and this was all staged or fucking something. And then I was like, maybe this is all in her head and she accidentally stabs one of them and all this shit's about to like calm down and this is how they get everyone in the diner and then the real killers are gonna show up. Like I'm like, all right, well, what's still
all right.
going on?
So we're on the same page. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, holy shit, like, this is gonna get insane because now that all of them, like, this was an accident, like, they're probably just trying to scare her, but it goes in a very weird direction. So all of a sudden, right after this, like, we want answers. Like, she's like, all of you guys, like, you can tell she's like, no clue what's going on. But we go right to a flashback all of a sudden. We are earlier in the movie to the firing scene. We're seeing this all over again where she's firing Jake. We see Jake sticking up for himself, freaking out. Then we see Jake in the car, and he is struggling to get he's like calling doctor. He is freaking out, trying to get like refills and everything, begging for refills, and he's calling people for money, talking about prescriptions. And we also see Jake stealing like weapons. He's stealing meat cleavers, knives. All the other three co-workers come out, and even Bobby is in there. And they're basically like, "Hey, like, are you guys all in?" And they're like, yeah, we're in. We'll see you guys tonight." And then we see Jake driving, and he meets a drug dealer, and he's with Petey, and he basically shows the guy like a gun, like, "Hey, throw me the drugs." And I'm still like, what is even happening right now? And as he's driving, he's smoking crack. Like, this downward spiral
Bro
is
is
happening.
making his and
His
I don't want
special,
to offend anyone, his special needs brother drive him around for
right?
fucking drug deals.
Well, he's got guns in the car and he's literally smoking crack. This is very like this. Talk about spiraling out of control so fast. I mean, this dude went from 0 to -60 right away. He is not handling this fire and good. He's basically says how he had like big plans for the restaurant and everything. How his like shows how his like mom worked there. He had all these cool ideas and everything.
Even calls himself a legacy. He's like,
Yeah,
my mom
he's
was the first hire in this restaurant. He clearly gives a shit because, like, the meat cleaver and all that stuff that he took,
yeah,
they were like, why are you stealing that? He was like, bro, I invested 2 weeks worth of my pay
yeah.
into this to have better tools for this restaurant.
Exactly. And so he's a legacy hire and everything. So they're driving or whatever. He's still smoking tons of crack. He said, "Pull over the truck, Petey.
So much crack.
So much crack is in here." It was definitely a good takeaway from this movie. Don't do drugs. Um, Pull over the truck, Petey. He tells Petey to pull over the truck, and we see four punks. Those four kids from earlier. They have like a fire. They're just drinking some beers. They're partying. They get out and they approach him, and the kids are kind of laughing, like, "Hey, you're like the guy from earlier from like the diner." And they call Petey a mongoloid,
Bro
which,
responds with, yeah, guys, want to smoke some crack?
yeah, he literally like, what is that? He literally is like, "Hey, do you want to smoke some crack?" And they call him like a loser. They call
I'm just,
Petey a
bro, I'm just saying, had these kids said yes to the drugs, no
right,
one would have got killed.
right, like call Petey a mongoloid. That does not go good with Jake. Basically, and you just see Jake. He's like, "You know what? I'm fired. Like, because of your shenanigans. Like, I'm fired because of you." It stabs one of them in the friggin' stomach, and the whole entire time, and then just stabs him to death. And he goes into the truck and like puts music on, grabs all the weapons, and never mind, he gives the gun to Petey. Dude, he's telling Petey to point the gun at them, and he tells them to dance.
Bro,
Like
he's
the
like, dance. And they go, how? He goes, I don't know. Just like feel the music, brother.
He tells them to feel the music. I literally go, "What the
What
fuck
the
is
fuck?
happening?" I'm like, "This is chaotic
Dude,
as
he's
fuck."
so into it. He's like, yo, just dance. I thought
Yeah.
he was going to be like, put your hands on his hips. Let's
At
go.
this point, I'm
You
like,
guys
"What?"
are the worst dancers in the world.
At this point, I'm like, "What did Sean even like?" Like, this is an incredible diner suspense movie, and now I'm got like this crackhead making people dance. Like, this is a tense scene. This is awful
Crackhead
because
making people dance in the
right,
woods.
life comes at you fast, guys. Don't do crack. And he tells Petey, he's got this is awful. This is tense. This is disturbing. It's gross. He's got Petey to point the gun. He's like, "Shoot him. Are you even a man? Like, do you have a dick? Like, shoot him."
Bro,
Like,
I feel so fucking bad for Petey because he's
literally,
like, no, Jake, no, like, no.
this
He's
was
not even looking. And he's just like, no. He's like, you're my brother. He's like, fucking make me proud, pretty much. Like,
yeah, no, this was an awful scene. This is terrible to watch, and the gun jams. So basically, well, what's his name? Jake jumps in there, wrestles, and like chokes the dude to death. The other two run away, I assume. So now we see Jake and PD, they drive away, and he basically kicks PD out, throws him the mask, and says, "Look, oh, hey, wait for me at the diner." He drives
Bro,
over
didn't
to,
even have the fucking nerve to drop him off at the diner. We
dude,
see his fucking blood-soaked brother just having to sprint to the diner because he doesn't know
sprint.
what the hell he's doing.
You're like, what the hell is even happening right now? We see Bobby now is just hanging out and with the other coworker waiting for Jake. And you can tell Bobby is a big fan of Nancy because the coworker's like, dude, will you shut up, stop talking about her? But then Jake just jump scares them and he's like, are you guys ready? And dude, Jake is he tells them he stole the mopeds from the teens and everything. So it's on. I mean, I guess they're ready. We see PD arrive at the diner first. We see the other three. So now we're back at the scenes that already happened. We see a different point of view now. We see the four of them all hiding. We see them hiding the mopeds and everything. We see them banging on it from their point of view. So we see Nancy scared and stuff, all the stuff that already happened.
Dude,
We see
Bobby and the
Jake.
line cook, they look like they're
Yeah.
having fun. Like they look like this is all
Yeah.
just a prank. They have no fucking idea what Jake and Petey just did.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the two of them have no clue right now. Like they literally just like they're kind of like having fun or whatever. They have no clue. But then we see Jake kill the cop from the different point of view and everything. And then we see Bobby unmask, and then we see that now that Nancy grabs him and everything. And now we flash all of a sudden, we're all caught up. We are back to where Petey just got stabbed. So we are back at present time right now. We basically see the line cook. He goes, look, hey, you go. They tell him to go stay with Nancy. Like the other two move Petey inside. The dude that was supposed to stay with Nancy, he loses her immediately. This guy had one job. Like,
I mean,
tell him,
in his defense, dude, like right before that, where he was like, "Bro, you just killed a cop," and Jake was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, I did it for you because you're gonna fry along with me and Petey."
exactly.
Putting
That's
it
what I
on
mean. Like,
him, and this dude buys right into it. But he has no interest in
no. They- he-
fucking put Nancy in a chokehold or something. Like he's just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like
yeah,
his head must be going everywhere.
yeah, Bobby and random line cook dude have no intents to go start killing people. So basically, you see them bring Petey inside, and all of a sudden you see Jake just like he turns to Bobby and he's like, "How was Nancy in the sack? Like, I want to know before before I kill you." Like he's like pissed off at Bobby. Like he punches Bobby, and we see Nancy inside out. She's out back, and she gets attacked by the friggin' line cook dude, and she ends up like throwing him in like the oil fryer. Like
Yeah.
he's coming at her.
Your chicken wings are done.
Yeah, like throws him in the oil fire. He comes out, he's like literally frying, like his face is melting off, like like holy shit. And unfortunately, like we think like we saw Bobby and Jake fight, but now we see Jake emerge, and unfortunately, oh god, dude, like we see Bobby is dead on the floor, just bleeding out, like holding the keys in his hand, just freaking sliced up, like holy shit. In all of this, her Nancy's friend that she texted earlier instead of calling the cops, she all of a sudden she just walks in, like sees it, and instantly is like, "Fuck this!"
I'm
Runs.
out.
She just runs out, and then we see Nancy run downstairs. We see Jake follow downstairs. Basically, she sneaks up. She stabs him in the back. Like, let's go. Unfortunately, didn't stab him good enough. He runs up and gets her, and all of a sudden stabs her in the back and like three times in the stomach. And I'm just like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? Like he is on top of her stabbing her, but then literally puts like the sticker of like the diner like
Yeah.
on her
Tells her to come back to the fat bottom or something.
and just
Enjoy your
walks
fat
out.
burger.
Dude,
And I
this
was
time
like, what the fuck?
I'm literally devastated. I'm like, I don't even know how to feel about this movie. This is not having a good ending at all. Like, and then we see Jake drives away and he's smoking more crack. He can't get enough of this crack. He calls 911 and we hear that whole entire, oh, my friend's dying. We hear the call that Sean told us about when we started the movie. It was Jake calling.
I honest to
And
God thought the movie was going to end right around here.
yeah, still have no clue. Like, and all of a sudden now we see Nancy, like she comes to. And I'm like, all right, bro, what? Like, and she pulls the knife out. I'm like, let's fucking go. This is incredible. How though? I have a few questions. And earlier in the middle of the movie, like we saw her, she like grabbed a bunch of like steaks, and you don't really know why. Well, she taped
He
like
made like
she
a
wrapped
bulletproof
herself.
vest type deal.
Yeah, made of like frozen steaks and everything. So the steaks took most of the knifing. So she saved herself, which I guess was brilliant. Um, So we see dead Bobby now, and if she goes over to Bobby and gets the keys, and she basically like whispers to him how like she did remember the night they hooked up because earlier in the movie she blacked out and said she didn't remember
Bro,
anything.
my heart broke for Bobby.
Yeah, dude, like
Because like
what
even
the?
while he was laying down, dying on this floor,
Yeah,
and she's looking at him from the other end of the diner, did you see him still trying to give her the keys?
he still was trying to like, oh my God, dude. So she walks out. She's got the keys. She goes to the cop car and she speeds away. We see Jake now. He is getting home at his little crack house, and he is like packing his shit, like he is just packing his shit, like
You can
getting
tell
ready.
he's so fucked up on drugs because he walks in and goes, PD, like looking for his brother.
Yeah, dude, you can tell he does not even know what he's doing. Like, is he packing shit? Like, he is literally, I don't know. I guess it's just what you just doing crack things, I guess. And then all of a sudden, we see Nancy in the cop car, and she pulls up in front of his house. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. Like, all right, this is friggin'
She's about to get a
badass. And
retribution.
then all of a sudden we hear like his doorbell going. His doorbell rings, and then it rings, and then it is keep ringing. And we see him grab a hammer, and it goes and answers it because this thing is just ringing and ringing. There is nobody there. And oh my God, this scene was so awesome. Like, let's go. Like, we see the sticker that he put on her is put over the doorbell so it keeps ringing, the fat bottom sticker. Oh my God, I love that so much. I can't even, so many movies you're like, oh, it would be so petty and obviously not realistic, but I just wish the person would go back for crazy revenge because who doesn't fucking love revenge? I love revenge. Sean probably loves revenge. If you're listening, you probably love revenge. So out of nowhere, Nancy, she comes from behind, stabs him in the friggin' neck, and like pulls the knife. So it's like neck to like slice throat. Like as
Bro,
this happens,
bro drops to his knees
yeah,
and
and
he's like, what did the farmer say when he lost his
yeah,
tractor? It
like
like doesn't even finish the joke, bro.
the
And she
joke.
fucking digs it in and rips it and
It
goes,
digs
I
it and
fucking
rips
hate
it.
that joke.
And as this happens, like the synth soundtrack kicks in. Oh, so good. But then once again, I'm like loving it so much. Like she doesn't go back to the cop car. She starts walking down the street. I'm don't
I'm at a loss for words right
I'm at
now.
a like the highs and lows I've had in this movie. She walks down the street and then she collapses and she collapses now and she's having flashbacks now of like her and her friend chilling in the car smoking like looking up at the tree and just talking about how like her mom like a nice moment how much she misses her mom and then we see a car pulling up and it's her dad and like he's holding her she's dying I guess now and he's basically like what is it and like she just says my baby cut scene movie over.
You
I
could, I got
I
some
have
thoughts about this.
I was gonna say I have some thoughts.
I got
Take it
some thoughts,
away.
bro. All
Ah,
right. I'm going to read everything verbatim before we get into like freestyle thoughts that I have jotted down.
yeah, please.
Um, this movie starts out slow. There's a lot of beautiful cinematic shots, like the joint bike ride to the diner. The characters do feel genuine, and without really having to focus on character building, you feel like you already know who these characters are, from the family in town that owns the diner that everyone works at to the local hooligans playing with the dead possum. The diner being the main location in this film gives you a truly desolate feeling you'd only find in a small town like this. The soundtrack from the old timey jukebox song ropes me in just like it does every single time, especially when we get into the solo dancing scene with Nancy during the overnight shift. It's such a drastic shift from 50s diner music to a song called I'm Your Dad by Girlwood. This song is absolutely off the walls. It's about you fuck me fast in my fast car. Like, did you listen to the lyrics?
Oh, of course I did.
It's insane, dude. I actually downloaded that song so I could listen to it.
Let's go.
The left turn, though, right into Petey getting stabbed and us seeing Jake's just drug fueled spiral, leading into him just fully snapping and killing the kids from earlier in the movie, to Jake losing absolute control over everything and everyone around him, just starting to wind up dead. And it all trying to wrap itself up with a nice, neat little bow in Nancy getting her retribution by surviving Jake's attack and then hunting his ass down. Bro, the suspense in this movie absolutely delivers. I just wish the reveal in this movie when they take the mask off was much later. I feel like they could have kept the mask on later, even after Petey got stabbed. I wish they had just kept the mask on and just kept escalating things. They do a good job of setting up the beginning with the ending of the movie with the 911 phone call. I'm a fan of that move. Uh, bro, as a horror movie, I do wish it had better, like I said, a little more and better pacing. But as like a thriller and a suspense with a pretty dope ass final girl, I'm giving this a solid 6.4, and it's definitely a good watch.
All right, all right. Oh man, I was loving this movie. Some of it got so stupid though, I couldn't look over it. And like I said, I get it's a horror movie, but it was asking me to take itself serious. So I was. But the amount of times I had to suspend belief and just be like, that was so stupid. I wrote this was so messy. Like, dude, positive. All right, the good. I love it so much. I actually did think Jessica Belkin played awesome. Like she was the
She
girl in
crushes
this.
it.
I think she was really good. At first, I was a little uneven, like if I was supposed to like her or not. But I obviously was supposed to be that way. I think she did really great. Dude, the synth soundtrack mixed with like the angsty girl, like punk rockish music
Dude,
and
it's
shit.
so good.
Dude, no, it was so good, dude. Like the diner was so good, the mask. Like I'm telling you, like I was loving this movie. This is why I almost got so pissed off that some of the shit didn't make sense to me. Like it got so messy. Like why did she drive to Jake's but just to walk home and then you collapse and like die? Like Jake got fired and I get spirals, but like they showed him getting fired and like his spiral just happened so fast. It just felt like I don't know. It felt like a little forced. Obviously, like the dude had you could tell he's a drug addict and stuff. Like his eyes were sunken in before and stuff. So because
He was
it
popping pills throughout the movie.
that's
Like
what I
every
mean.
time
So
something
like
came up,
yeah, he showed pale. So I get it. It just happened so fast to just be like a psychopath murderer. And I don't understand. Like you text your friend instead of the cops again. Like you after you call your dad, and then where did her friend go? Like where did her friend call the cops right away? Like
that's what I'm saying. There's
like where
small
did
loopholes that got overlooked in this
why did
movie.
she just
Otherwise, it's
run in?
fantastic.
She ran in and just disappeared. Like, I don't understand. Wouldn't she have called the cops right away and the cops got there? You had all these murders. Like, what the? And the ending was so horrendous. I hated the end. I loved the revenge so much. And then,
Stop
even,
it. Stop it right there. Just stop
stop
it.
it.
Don't.
Like, bro, why did you even, your dad, like, my baby, even the last words was stupid. Like, why
I
you,
get,
like,
I
that
get
was,
it because she's pregnant,
yeah.
but
But,
stop it at Jake's house.
yeah,
Have
like,
the dad find you pass. If you really need that passed out scene to bring the dad back in, bro,
right?
have it happen at Jake's. Give me a
Yeah.
post credit scene.
Give me something else. That's what I mean. Like, and I said, I love the setting. I love the revenge. It was just so uneven. And it was so entertaining enough. Like, all right, I give this a 6.2, which also killed me because I had this, man, I thought I was going to give this like
I had
an
this in
8,
the eights.
8.5. Yeah, like this was going to be like high eights. And I get it's like an indie horror and stuff. Some of it was just like, I don't know. They did such a great job at so much of this movie. Still watch it, but some of it was just so dumb to me. It hurt. That's
Bro, this movie makes me feel like I wish they had made other movies first as like learning curves
yeah,
and had more time to like perfect something, because this movie is really fucking good. Like, don't let our
yes,
sixes hack stab slash
yeah,
deter you from watching this movie, because this is a really fucking good movie. And the fact that we both thought this movie should be in the eights right
yes.
up until the ending absolutely just kills me, bro. Because how many
Me
movies
too.
have we seen where it's one or two scenes that fully take you out and you're like, what the fuck were you
That's
what
what
were you
pissed me off. Like
thinking?
I was loving it. And the same thing like Sean said, I don't think like this wasn't like budget issues. I don't think anything. I think it was just literally mistakes. Like I think it could have been written a little better. Like how do you like some of the loopholes, like when you write a horror movie, you gotta be like, does this make sense and stuff? Like would this character like and some of the right I just felt was like sloppy and like, come on, guys, like oh
Yeah, there's just small details that sometimes they embed themselves in your brain and it
yep.
affects the way you consume the movie. Um, but
Gu-
that being said,
Gun
dude, I really did like this movie.
Yeah, no, like I said, I was loving it. That's why I'm almost just more angry screaming right now, just because of how much I was loving it, and just the fact that I got let down to a 6. Like this wasn't a movie that I was thinking like, oh, this movie's a 4, this movie's a 5, and then it kind of won me over to get to a 6. Like you said, this movie was way up
It
here,
started
and
out up
yeah,
here, yeah.
and that's why I'm just angry that it ended at a 6.2 because I was loving it. You got any fun facts or anything?
I got a couple. We did mention that Nancy is played by Jessica Belkin.
Yep.
She's a fantastic final girl, and I hope we do see her in many more movies to come. She's known from the TV series American Horror Story, and she's also plays a final girl in a movie called Hunt Club. And this is a movie in which girls are lured to a private island and
Okay.
they're offered $100,000 in exchange to be part of a hunt. What they don't know is when they get to this island, they're the prey, and these rich guys, they're the hunters.
All
So
right.
I think I actually might check out that movie just because I liked her so much in this movie.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that hold on. Let me do my fun fact now too, just because I said that. Like, she literally said, I saw her interview with her. She said she wants to. She said she wants to do more horror movies, and that she really likes horror. And she also said like maybe she'd want to be in like the Scream Queen territory one day.
Bro,
Discuss.
she
So
is
yeah.
amazing. Like
So I just figured I'd
if
throw that
this
in
is what
there.
she brings to the table,
Yeah.
she's got a 2025 Screen Queen vote from me all
Yeah.
fucking day.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Um, this box office was roughly $90,000. That doesn't seem like a lot, and it seems like a massive flop, but it was only released in a very small select amount of theaters before getting released on video on demand.
All right.
I think if this movie had more marketing behind it and they pumped out that scene that made me want to watch it, the dancing scene in the diner, I feel
Yep.
like it would have made a lot more money in theaters.
Hell
And it
yeah.
probably would have got a better release. I do have this is currently at a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb, as well as a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. And one of the only fun facts I could find, because my ass, like, unlike Justin, I always forget to go look for like interviews and stuff. I do my shit through Google. At the 28-minute and 30-second mark, the main character uses a rotary phone to call the police. She clearly dials 3322 instead of 911.
What? Oh, so only other thing I got is from the director himself. He basically said he wanted to make a film that shows like how not showing empathy or like bad communication can really just like show people going into downward spirals of people snapping, of like people not understanding each other. Like if maybe she like the whole firing scene, maybe if like she was more empathetic to them, and same thing, and maybe if the dude like stuck up for himself more and like they had a communication, maybe none of this would happen. He just wanted to show like how like a movie that could be real, like show like a drug addicted fueled downward spiral, people just no empathy, just showing like that's
Dude,
kind of that's
he
what
did a
he
good job.
well, that's what I thought was really cool, like how he said that
I
like he
felt
wanted
for
to
Jake in the original like firing scene when she's bringing the possum out back.
yeah.
I felt for Jake, dude, because when he's sitting in the truck and he looks up, he looks like a defeated little kid. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Can I like can
Yeah, like
we talk?
he wanted to show just like how like bad communication can lead to so much stuff. And I think you even felt that between like the dad and the daughter, their relationship seemed fucked and like they don't talk that much. Same thing with like it just seems like a lot of people like if there was some better communication, maybe people leading with empathy, maybe none of this would have happened. So I did think that was pretty cool because I think it does kind of nail it through that movie. And that's all I got.
Even on like the rewind, when we go back
Yeah.
and we immediately see from like Jake's point of view, and
Yeah.
after she fires Jake, like the original one, it's you're fired, and he's like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you're fired," and he's like, "Wait, no, like you can't." She's like, "Get the fuck out of here." That's like the original setup that we see. Is she's cold hearted and like doesn't even give a chance. And then when we get the rewind, we get Jake who's like, "Yo, I'm sorry, I was out of line.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about it? Like, this will not happen again. I promise you. I desperately need this job. Like, I have insurance. I've got bills. I've got medications that I got to pay for. Like, please just hear me out. I made a mistake."
One last thing, real fast. This kind of bothered me too. Like, I kind of felt I hate to be negative again and end it, but don't you think he would have just been like he probably just would have been like, "I'll call your dad" or something. Like
Yeah.
I still felt I felt like that was kind of forced too. Like she was in charge for like left in charge, and all of a sudden like yeah, I know she just became a manager, but don't you think he would have been like, "I'm like call her dad," or I don't know. I
Yeah.
just
Go
felt
out
like
to
he
your truck
probably,
and call the dad and explain
I
the situation.
I kind of, especially if he was like a legacy hire and his family, like I kind of felt like I'm like that's why I felt like weird. I'm like, really? Would he just say accept it and like go into a crazy spiral right away and start killing people? I don't know. That's why I thought it was like, wouldn't he have called him like because they obviously
Because we
like
even see later on in the movie that the dad, when he gets up in the morning,
yeah,
calls Jake.
I
And
know
he's like, "Hey, man, you always have a job with us. Don't worry about this. We'll get together and talk about this."
that's why I just wanted to like this movie more. I thought that too because especially if he's a legacy character, that means his whole entire life he's grown up around the diner. So that's why I was like, wouldn't he just be like, "I'm gonna talk to your dad. Like this is." Instead of maybe smoking all that crack, like just take a few less hits of crack and maybe
Well,
like not
it
stab
does
as much people.
it does feel like the director tried to set it up the way you wanted to look at it. Because
Yeah.
I wish they'd done a little bit better job of explaining it, because we do get little small itty bitty cutscenes, like the phone call to the insurance company, to the pharmacy,
Yeah.
him getting to the point where he's scratching the fucking label off the pill bottle. Like, I understand your mom died and like you guys found her and that's what started this whole fucking spiral, but
Yeah.
just give me a little bit more behind it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Get a perfect place to like put a little bit more character building for Jake and building empathy with him would have been when they're outside and the dad goes, can you make me up one of those, what do you call it? Like a slam and Sammy?
Yeah. Yep.
Like you have a little moment right there.
Yeah, yeah, I guess just the execution wasn't 100% in this movie. But like I said, I'll stop watch, go watch it. Yeah.
Definitely worth the watch. Yeah. I mean, throw all the negative shit we said out the window. Make your own opinions. Hack, stab, slash. Like we always tell you to do. Watch this movie at least once. I thought it was great. I just wish it was better.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Hacky.
Just Justin.
Justin.
We out.
Peace.
Later.